The disappearing passenger. A train ride that never ended. The night air was heavy with rain, the kind that turned streetlights into blurry halos. At exactly 8:45 p.m., the last commuter train of the night slid into the platform at Riverside Station. Inside, a few scattered passengers sat in tired silence, their faces glowing faintly in the dim cabin light. But in the very last carriage, by the far left window, sat a woman in a red scarf, staring straight ahead. 10 minutes later, when the train pulled into its final stop, she was gone. No one saw her leave, no one saw her move, and no one has ever explained what happened on that ride. Riverside Line was one of those older commuter rails, the kind with worn leather seats, scratched windows, and that faint smell of metal and rain. It had been running for over 70 years, connecting small suburbs to the city center. Most nights were uneventful. On April 16, 2019, the final outbound train left the city at its usual time. The CCTV footage from the boarding platform shows the passengers entering, 14 in total. They looked tired, carrying grocery bags, backpacks, and umbrellas. The last person to board was a woman estimated to be in her mid-30s, medium build, shoulder-length black hair, wearing a beige coat and a striking red scarf. She clutched a black leather tote bag close to her chest. She didn't speak to anyone. She didn't even look at the conductor when he checked tickets. 3 passengers later told investigators they remembered her distinctly. One said she seemed tense, constantly glancing at the dark reflection in the window. Another said she never moved a muscle for the entire ride. Halfway through the journey, the train slowed at Brookside Station. This is where several passengers exited. But according to the CCTV, the woman in the red scarf stayed seated. What is strange is that the internal camera mounted above the carriage doors recorded every single person who left or entered at each stop, except her. The footage seems to freeze whenever her seat comes into view. At the second to last station, the train conductor did a walkthrough, checking for discarded tickets. He swears she was still sitting there, head slightly turned toward the window. But at the final stop, when he walked through again, she was gone. The doors had been closed between stops, and the CCTV from the last leg shows no one standing, no movement, no sign of her. Local police began their search that same night. They reviewed security footage from every platform the train had passed. They even checked the trackside cameras positioned along certain bridges and tunnels. Not a single frame showed her stepping off. The tote bag she carried was never found. Her description matched no missing persons report filed in the area. Then came the most disturbing detail. A passenger who rode in the second carriage reported something odd. When the train passed through the Riverside Tunnel, all lights in the cabin flickered, just for a second. And in that moment, the woman's reflection in the window wasn't there. An anonymous caller contacted the police a week later. They claimed the woman was not just a random commuter. She had once been the prime witness in a murder case involving a man pushed from a moving train on that very line 15 years earlier. According to the old case file, she had given her statement, then vanished before trial. Her disappearance had been written off as a relocation under a protection program. But the caller insisted she'd never left, that her last ride had been the night before she was due to testify, the night she boarded the train's last carriage and was never seen again. To this day, commuters swear that if you take the last Riverside train on a rainy night, you might spot her, sitting alone in the last carriage, face turned toward the darkness outside. And if you try to sit beside her, some say you'll feel the seat grow cold. Others claim the cabin lights will flicker, and when they turn to look at you, you'll realize there's no reflection in the window.